Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to talk about HGA grading and the new order that we're going to submit to HGA. And so what I wanted to talk about with this, I don't want to get into the cards specifically and the values and the potential why card prices fluctuate way too much these days. So show the picture of the cards that we are going to send for grading and just kind of take a look at them and kind of show them off. And hopefully we make some good picks when those cards actually come back. But I did want to talk about HGA in general, particularly the latest news that I've heard regarding card porn and their, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it bad press. I guess we'll just leave it at that. But there's definitely been some bad press toward HGA lately. We already know about the fake autos that were graded, and we know about the trimmed cards. And so there's been some correspondence back and forth on that. I think we did hear from the CEO of HGA, who basically pointed out that, yeah, we did make some mistakes, but really the mistakes that we made are not at a much higher percentage than any of the other competitors. So that may or may not be true. It's not something that I've ever looked into. I do know for a fact that PSA makes mistakes and has made mistakes in the past. And if you watch Retro Hoops Collectibles channel, he points this out all the time, either with their grades of PSA 10s and cards that are clearly not PSA 10s. I believe that they have graded some probably either trimmed cards or who knows, maybe even a fake auto. I don't look into it. It's not something that's really on my radar unless people point it out. But with HGA being a new company, they're going to be under the microscope for the foreseeable future, apparently. And so they're going to have to deal with this head on. And so I'm part of an HGA Facebook group, and maybe some of you who watch these videos are part of the same group. There was a really good post, and I wanted to point it out in the video because I think the message from this post, if you have a problem with HGA, either that they're taking too long to return orders, or their grading standards may not be up to par, or whatever it is, if you're grading with HGA, you like them and you want to continue to grade with them, let's look for some positives that might be able to help them out, maybe some positive suggestions that they may or may not take. But let's take a shot at it. And so this particular person stated that he is an operations manager and does have some level of expertise in as far as managing operations and production and that sort of thing, which it seems as though HGA is struggling with either because of COVID or because whatever, they're short-staffed, who knows. But their turnaround times have definitely slowed down lately, and it's starting to upset the masses. And so I wanted to address that as well. And my brother even pointed it out. He has an order that he sent with them back in July, and we're still waiting on that order. It was a 60-day order, and so it's pretty clear that the 60-day orders are taking a lot longer than 60 days and a lot longer than 60 business days. So this is becoming a concern. So these are a couple of the suggestions that this particular person came up with, which I thought were good, and I wanted to talk about them on a video. First thing he states is cut off the 60-day submissions until they're caught up. And obviously PSA had to do this on a much larger scale where they just shut down everything other than Super Express. And so I think this is a great idea. I mean, first of all, it shows that your product is in demand. If you're getting backed up with grading, obviously people are still wanting to use HGA. They're still finding some success on the open market, either with resale or they're just happy with their collectible. Either way, there is demand. They should be happy about that. But one of the things they can control is how long they take to turn around cards, and that would be by limiting submissions. So I agree with this 100%. Just cut off 60-day submissions for now until they're caught up, and then get back to it. Now, when they resume the 60-day submissions, he also suggests that they don't call it 60-day submission, change it to bulk subs, 60 to 90 days, and even continue to limit it at that point, similar to what PSA is doing right now with their $100 order. So that was suggestion number one. He had quite a few suggestions. I'm only gonna read off a couple here. The other one he said here is reinstitute the 10 days means 10 days for the higher cost orders. So they have a 2-day option, a 10-day option, and a 30-day option. Those are their 3 highest tiers. He's suggesting that go back to, 10 days means 10 days and stick to it. And I guess if you limit the 60-day orders, and you're just basically limiting your orders in general, you should be able to meet those turnaround times. I think if you go back to when they had that queue and they were only taking 5 cards or 9 cards, there was a lot of demand back then. And there seemed to be having more success. So it's great that they've opened up for larger orders and now people can really grade with them in bulk if they want. But now might be the time to scale back. It might be better for business overall. Obviously, nobody wants to turn away business, but again, SGC went through this as well, where they just took on more than they could handle, and it did hurt them in the short run, and who knows, it may have hurt them in the long run. I mean, from what I see, SGC sales aren't really that great, and I don't know if that's a result of what they did a year ago or 2 years ago when they bit off more than they could chew and really upset a large customer base with poor turnaround time. So this is something that they can control and they can address, and that's what I liked about this post. The other thing he says here is get that second video out ASAP. And I agree. They came out with a video, I don't even know how long ago it was, but it seems like forever ago, especially as fast moving as this market is. So get that video out and you know, clue us in as to what's going on. And on top of that, he suggests that maybe get a high, you know, like a very high, he calls it a high-powered influencer, but get an influencer, somebody that has a big following, similar to what Jeff Wilson did with SGC, and tour the facility. Show us what's going on. I think that would be a great thing to do, because I know when I watched that video, that's when I had way more confidence in SGC than I would have otherwise, just because I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know what their standards were. I only knew that they would seem to specialize in vintage, and that's just because they've been around forever. But, you know, as far as to actually see some of the equipment that they use, to see their process, it's definitely gave me more comfort. And I would think that that would do the same for HGA. Finally, and the most important thing, in my opinion, is go spend money on an experienced authenticator. And that's my concern in general, is fake autos. I never really thought like somebody might fake a sticker auto and put a fake sticker auto on a card, but apparently that's happened. And so I feel more comfortable, especially if I were going to buy a higher end auto, sending it to PSA, only because I know that they actually authenticate the auto. They have a track record. I just feel way more comfortable that that auto is going to be authenticated. It's going to be real. And my collectible, my asset, whatever you want to call it, is going to be worth its value, because there's not going to be any question as to whether or not that auto is real or not. And as I stated before, there are some grading companies that don't authenticate, and there's some that are. So I think this is a great idea, is go out, spend money on an experienced authenticator, and promote the hell out of it. And I think that's the key as well, is once they make these moves, once they make the move to either limit the submissions, get a high-powered influencer, get an experienced authenticator, whatever it is, they got to promote it. They got to let people know, hey, we've taken action to address some of these concerns. I think that's an important part of what they could do right now. And again, this is why I really like this post, and it's why I wanted to get it on video. For now, though, I did send some more cards. The HGA had a holiday special. I believe it was 15% off the entire order. So I went ahead and sent in another 20 cards. And I believe my brother's the one who sent them off. So I believe it was 10 cards at 30 days and maybe 5 cards at the 10-day order. So we'll see what those turnaround times are like. But that has been the issue, and we'll kind of see what they do going forward, if they've addressed it in some way, if they take any of these suggestions, which I think would be a great idea. In the meantime, though, I'm still going to continue grading with HGA. I don't see anything as a major concern. What I see is a lot of people observing certain mistakes that seem to be common among grading companies. It's kind of a wait and see as to how HGA will approach addressing these various concerns that have come up. But I think we have some time. You know, I'm willing to continue grading and see how it plays out over the next year. I believe that they will be around, be relevant in 2022. So it will be exciting and interesting to see how it all plays out. Anyway, just wanted to get this quick video out on HGA grading. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you on the next one.